Hello, my darlings. We are back for day 2 of the Spiritual Author BooKcamp 3-day live event, and I can't wait. I'm going to just jump straight in. And at the end of this book camp for spiritual authors, you'll have your book idea and a roadmap to achieve it. That is what we want to arrive at by tomorrow. So I hope that you're already beginning to see the possibility of that. I hope you're beginning to see the gaps in your plan. Maybe if you've started in the past and you've tried to do this and you haven't succeeded completely with a finished book, I'm hoping you're beginning to see where the gaps are and where you can fill those in so that you can achieve author success and finally have your book in your hands this year. Why not? So this is me again. And it's just me holding that book in my hand. There really is nothing like that feeling of holding a book in your hands. And I want that for every single one of you. And I just want to say, well fucking done for showing up for day 2. There's a certain amount of people that might, maybe let's say 100% that show up for day 1. There's probably half show up for day 2 or will watch day 2. And then a lot less will watch day 3. So the fact that you're here is an achievement, and it is a testament to your commitment to yourself, that you really want to be an author, that you really want to be a writer, that you really want to get your book out ASAP. So I love that you're here, and thank you for being here. So let us see. Yeah. Oh. So what we covered today. Oh, why is this? There we go. So this is where we are. Yesterday we did identify and clear blocks to author success. If you did not do that and you're watching the replay, go back and watch that first, because it really sets the foundation for this book camp. It will really support you. So just knowing these blocks and being able to clear through them is massive, is the first step before you go and do anything else. You could just mute yourself, that would be fantastic. Everybody, yourself. So there's somebody there that's unmuted. I'm not sure who it is. Let me see. Okay, so everybody's muted. Brilliant. So just make sure you're muted. Yeah, thank you. Brilliant. So this is where we are today. Day 2, crystallizing your book idea. You will have an idea by the end of today's session. And then tomorrow, we're going to look at your blueprint, your roadmap, your plan. So really important things. Make sure you have a Google Doc open, a notebook. Be open to healing, because this work is healing. Anytime I come together in groups like this of light workers, it's usually a deeply healing experience. And watch out for any intuitive hits or messages, especially because we're in the ideas phase today. So, really watch out for any intuitive hits from your angels or downloads that are coming through. Yesterday, just a quick, brief summary to remind you of what we did. These are the blocks, and these are the how to dissolve them. So really go back and watch this whole session yesterday. It's really so important. But instead of writing your memoir, write your system, the path of least resistance, your healing process method. If you don't have time, get it into your calendar, clear out distractions, do all the steps that we said. If you don't have a plan, create a plan, which you'll have tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to focus just completely on creating your plan. Accountability, hire your coach, join your community, and protect your writing. So that was really important that I highlighted yesterday. Not having an author identity, just accept the fact that you're a writer now. If you have written anything, then you are a writer. And, no understanding of self-publishing versus traditional publishing, just fucking decide to self-publish first. And that can be your stepping stone to finding that big agent or big publishing deal later on. So go back, as I said, if you haven't watched day 1, go back and watch it. A reminder, if you want to be one of 11 people that I work with this year, 1-to-1 and in a group coaching program called Ignite, reach out. Here's the URL to go and have a look, aishlingmooney.com/ignite. Have a look, see if it resonates. If you have questions or you want to chat with me about it, or you have anything at all, just thoughts about it, just reach out and let me know, okay? That's the URL, ashlingmooney.com/ignite. And we're enrolling now. Starts on the 12th of February, and our first kickoff welcome and orientation call is the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. So really great to see many of you there. So this is just a testimonial from one of the women, Sylvie, who was part of the Spiritual Millions book collaboration. And there's 22 authors, and we've just completed chapters, 22 chapters that will go into a finished book and will be published in April. And just in Sylvie's case, Sylvie had, like many of us, like me, until I was 49, I published my first book, was, invested money, invested time, huge amounts of time in, Sylvie invested a lot of money in courses and programs and coaches to try to get her dream of a writer accomplished. And then she came along, she met me, I don't know how, maybe she found me in the Angel Cafe when I announced this last year in August, and decided to step into the program. And I love what she says, that it not only became an exercise in self-discipline, which is where your plan and your blueprint and your time and your accountability comes in, but I was encouraged to write from my heart, and it became a journey of self-discovery and healing. This is a healing journey that we're on, and I can now say that I'm an author. These are just words that just light up my heart. So, this is for everybody. If you have a desire to be an author, then this is for every single one of you. Whether you are self-directed and can do it yourself, or whether you decide to hire a coach or join a community, it is totally possible to write a book this year. So just doing a quick check-in before we dive in. After yesterday, our numbers went up, but I just want to check in. How confident are you right now, especially for anybody that's new watching now, that maybe you missed day one? How confident are you right now that you can write and publish a book this year, let's say? So just one being, I'm absolutely not confident at all, I'll never be able to do it. And 10 being, I can totally rock this out this year. Just give me a little bit of a 10, 9, I'm loving it. Loving it. Brilliant. 9, 7. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I'm loving these numbers. Brilliant. Well done. So we're going to check in at the end and just see how that is and if that number has shifted. So just for a moment, let us just take a moment to connect in with our little inner authors. So just let's take a moment together. So let's take maybe 3 deep breaths together. So take a nice deep breath in. And another breath in. And as you release that breath, just allow your shoulders to drop down, become relaxed and peaceful. Another breath in. And just think about, what is your intention? Obviously, your intention is to write a book. But what is your intention from today? Why did you come back if you're watching day 2? What is it that you hope to achieve by the end of today? Is it hope? Is it self-belief? Is it empowerment? Is it that you have that one big idea? Just let us take a moment and set our intention. And I'm just calling in our angels, our guides, our loved ones from the other side that are around us as well, and that are just cheering us on and want us to succeed and want us to achieve our dreams. And I'm just calling on them and asking that each and every one of us, receive exactly what we need to support us on our life journey, our life purpose. Love it. And just open your eyes if you close them. And just pop in the chat what your intention is. I would love to hear what your intention is for today. So my intention is to inspire you, that everybody walks away with a million ideas, but that we hone down to maybe 3 ideas by the end of this book camp day 2. That's my intention. So I would love to hear your intentions. Please just pop them in the chat for me there. And also, I just wanted to remind you of this because we posted it yesterday, but I just wanted to really, what's your particular healing process or system that you've developed and want to share with the world? How many steps are there? So it's just a reminder question that I'd love you to just think about. And if you haven't answered that yesterday, you can write that in your notebook or Google Doc now and just come back to that at some stage today. So some of the intentions to decide on my book idea, inspired by my guides to say, to take a step closer to creating my legacy. I love it. Tools to ground my dreams, leave a legacy of inspiration, figuring out whether I have the material for writing a book in the spiritual entrepreneur category, or do I want to focus on my tales and poetry? Brilliant. Love that, Florence. So great. So I'm just posting this here to sort of seed in, so to get you thinking about this again before we move into the ideas. I just want to take a minute to talk about fucking teacher trauma. So I have written here, it's up to you, get out of the classroom, heal your teacher trauma. So a lot of the clients that come to me have experienced trauma from the old-fashioned school system, which not all of us fit into. I've two kids, I have a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old. One of them is thriving in that school system. Grades are high, really self-directed, self-motivated, and completely doesn't need anyone to tell her what to do, and follows the curriculum, has her hand up all the time, does all the work, is a good kid, in school, and is doing everything right according to the teacher curriculum and what society expects of kids in school. The other kid is struggling. The same fucking system, the same intelligence, like they're both intelligent kids, but is struggling with that system. And I would have struggled with school. I would have come out barely scraping through my leaving cert, or A levels as they're called in UK. I'm not sure what they're called in other parts of the world, but my final exams at 17, 18, I just barely scraped through a pass with maths, and oh God, nearly everything was very, very low. And it wasn't until fucking 20 years later that I realized actually I wasn't stupid. It was just the system didn't work for me. So a lot of my clients now are older women my age, in their 40s and 50s, and they're coming with this classroom and teacher trauma. And this idea, they've come out of school believing that they were somehow stupid because they couldn't fit in with the curriculum. And I just want to say that it's up to you, it's up to us to change that story. There's a whole lost generation of women, that were young girls in school, and that just the system failed them. Now, I just want to put a fucking asterisk or a love heart around this and say that teachers generally are amazing. And some of the teachers that have looked after my kids over the years have been incredible. There's usually one dud in the pack somewhere, but as I said to my son, there has to be a dud, so you know what that feels like, and then when you've got a good thing when it's there. But in general, the teachers are doing their very, very best within a system that requires them to fit into that system as well. And it's a memory game. How many of your students can remember this information and regurgitate it back, and then get 100% for that, or whatever, get the reward for that, or get the certificate, or get the diploma. So it's really up to us to recognize this and to begin to heal this within ourselves. And I trained as a teacher. I went back after, I don't know, 20 years and studied a degree in adult education. So it's different for kids and different for adults. And I really had to face all of my teacher trauma at that stage, and my classroom trauma. And it took a lot for me to recognize that I was actually an intelligent person and that I could create a new system. So if any of this is resonating with you, please post in the chat. Please let me know. or wherever you're watching this video, whether it's live or you're on YouTube, just post in the comments and just let me know how this is resonating, what this is bringing up for you, what this is potentially healing for you as we're talking about this conversation. Because, you know, many of us, some of us may have had amazing teachers, and I hope you did. But as I said, in my experience, it was different. Okay, so any thoughts that you have on that, post them in the chat. So what I want to just encourage you to do is take back your power, figure out what works for you. This is about you creating the system for your success. So find your teacher, find a coach, find a community that works for you. You don't have to bend into somebody else's system and make that work for you. No, you have to find somebody that resonates, whether that's a community, whether that's a coach, whether that's author buddies, whether that's, you know, recognizing the season of life that you're in, you know, find a process, plan, schedule, and blueprint that works for you. So it's like, we talked about that yesterday. What season of life are you in? Are you an early bird, an early riser? Are you a night owl? You know, do you have young kids to take care of, or older parents? Do you have kids with special needs? Do you have uh, needs yourself? Are you neurodiverse? Like, it's about, have you ADHD? I have suspected undiagnosed ADHD, which was so liberating for me last year to discover that and go, oh shit, it wasn't me. I was just me. You know, I was creative. I would love to have a picture of me in school. I was creative. I was artistic. I was outspoken some of the time. I thrived in the drama. I thrived on stage. I talked too much. They said I was a dreamer. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't focus. But it was just that system didn't work. That system didn't work for me. But so I had to create my own system. And this is years of work as a personal development, spiritual development teacher, coach, mentor, all the self-development work that I've done on myself that has, you know, it doesn't come by accident. So you need to take control. You need to take back power right now and heal that teacher trauma and that classroom trauma for yourself. Do whatever it takes and be prepared to do the work and take 100% responsibility. And that's obviously the writing work, but it's also the healing work, the healing of the trauma, the healing of your mindset around the fact that you are a writer right now. If you've written anything, you're a writer, and just take 100% responsibility. If the coach, the teacher, the classroom isn't working for you, the community, get out of it and find your tribe, find your community, find your space that works for you. So yeah, so that it could bring up a lot, this little piece that I'm speaking about here. So I'm hoping that I just really wanted to highlight it and say that if you haven't succeeded in writing your book before, it's not you. It is not you. It is the system. It is you just didn't have the tools or the proper plan or the proper coaching or or the schedule or the blueprint or whatever, or you hadn't done the healing work. So take back your power. That's what I want to leave you with on this slide. This is the beautiful Hazel O'Doherty. She's saying that the Hazel just reached out and said, yeah, I want to be part of the book collab. She wants to work with me. Didn't have any idea where to begin. Didn't know if she could do it. And then afterwards felt more confident in the process. And this is what I love. How to get started, and also the importance of carving out time to write and how to structure writing. And accountability helps, and Aishling to offer advice and drafts, and having a deadline is invaluable. Deadlines really work for me, and I found that they work really well for my clients. So this is a quick story I want to just talk to you about. So there's some stuff coming up for some people. Trauma in school, dyslexic, yeah, hidden and felt stupid most of my life. I mean, this is, yeah, traveling to India brought a lot of confidence and begin standing in my own power. Technology is still a challenge. So it's like really this is the year to take back your power. This is Dragon Energy year, Muriel and everybody else. So I shared this story in my spiritual boot camp when we first started and in my any communities. Um, and it's this one day, I'll tell you a very quick story. One day there was a new butcher shop that opened up around the corner from my mother's house. I happened to walk in, and before I knew it, I was in the back room of the shop, and this guy was showing me, he had a computer screen open, and he was showing me photos of Everest. And he had just taken, I didn't know this guy from Adam, but light workers were open to having chats and meeting new people and yeah, being guided by the angels. And this is just such a wonderful story that has inspired me in all of my own learning and when I'm teaching and coaching. And this guy showed me photos of his trip to Everest. There was 10 men 10 friends that decided to go to Everest. And he said, just an Irish guy, normal Irish guy in the back of a butcher's. And he said to me, they had this mantra, 10 men up, 10 men down. And it meant that they committed to each other in their meetings, in their training, in their preparation, in their fundraising, everything that they did to get themselves to that base camp in Everest. Everything that they did, they had this mantra, 10 men up, 10 men down. So they were like, he said, there was no way we were going to leave anybody behind. There was no way that any of us was not going to reach the top and was not going to come down, even if we had to carry each other or we had to literally drag each other down, motivate each other, encourage each other, support each other, push each other, pull each other, do whatever it took. But we had just a vision of 10 men up that mountain and 10 men down. And obviously they achieved their goal. And I just thought that was so inspiring for me. And I've used it as a story to inspire my clients. And I used it in the book collaboration to say, okay, there's 22 of us going up this mountain, because sometimes writing a book or doing anything can feel like it's a Mount Everest in front of you. It's a mountain. And it's for some of you know, sometimes you get to the top of that mountain and then the second part coming down can be just as tough. So we need our help. We need help and support and community all the way through that process of whatever it is that you take on in life. In this case, we're talking about writing a book. And I said to those people, there's 22 of us going up and there's 22 of us coming down. There's going to be 22 chapters. And even when the going was tough and, you know, I held that vision in my mind that I was going to have a published book in April with 22 authors in it. And at the time of when I launched the book, the book camp, the book collab, I only had 20. So 2 more came in at the end. And this is just a lovely, just before we jump into the idea section, a lovely testimonial from Mary. I think Mary's on the call. Working with Aishling, I loved what Mary said. And I love Mary's work, and I think that this chapter is a stepping stone to her getting her book out into the world. But one of the things she said is, Aishling was always there to support and encourage me. She never lost faith in me. This makes me almost want to cry, and kept saying, I believe in you, Mary. I won't give up on you. And, you know, her unwavering belief in me were the driving force behind submitting my final draft. So we all need that encouragement, that love, that, and Mary's story is a fucking amazing story. And it's just, I don't want to let away any secrets, but it is a fucking amazing story. And I can't wait to have it in the book. And there was no doubt in my mind at any stage that this story was going in. I didn't care if I had to take a plane to Dublin and knock on Mary's door and help her. That story was going into the book. So sometimes we need that faith from another person to just help us to just finish, to complete, to keep going until the very, very end. And if you're anything like me, I'm like 70-80% girl. It's the last 20% that is the biggest, where I need the most motivation and the most support. For some people it's the beginning, some people it's the middle, some people it's the end. That's about coming back to taking back your power and figuring out where you need the most help. And the other thing that I love what Mary said is that it soon became a personal healing journey rather than just getting a chapter. And that's what writing your book can be. It can bring up so much. So, any thoughts on this? Loved hearing Mary's stories when we're on the calls. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to jump into the meat and bones of today with your book ideas. Let's go. So here we go, my darlings. So get your pen and paper ready. And we're going to talk about mind mapping. So does anybody know mind mapping? Just put a Y in the chat if you've heard of mind mapping before. The heater on here, it's very cold. If you've heard of mind mapping, put a Y or a no, an N. Yes, 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 brilliant. Everybody that's been on the book collaboration now has heard of mind mapping because I've spoken about it definitely. Or if you've been on any of my courses or training, you will definitely have heard of mind mapping because it's one of my favorite things, favorite ways to generate ideas. It was created by this guy called Tony Busnan. And basically it's you put whatever you want to create, whatever you want to generate ideas on in the center, in a circle. And then you have these like spider legs coming out from that circle and you pop your ideas in there. And I'm going to give you some examples of how that looks. Okay, Wendy, this is great. So you're going to learn a new skill that will just make a huge difference going forward and helping you to generate ideas. So mind mapping by Tony Busnan. You can go Google him. When you Google it, you can see some really complicated and intricate mind maps. I am simple and I like to keep things simple. So, and I'm going to just share a little exercise that I did this morning and it took me 10 minutes twice. So this is a quick, now this is a fancy mind map, so this isn't a simple one. This is a fancy mind map that I put together to demonstrate how to write a book. So this is actually for the book that's coming out, Book Mastery, that's coming out in March. And it was just literally, the book is write and publish on Kindle. That was starting title. The title has changed obviously 2 or 3 times, and it might even change by the time I get the cover ready. But it's like getting started, all of the things, finding your niche, brainstorming, mind mapping, which is what we're doing now. And then this is the mindset piece that we did yesterday, tips for writing quickly. We're going to talk about that as well tomorrow, some strategies, formatting and design when everything's done, publishing process, promoting. So this is sort of the writing, and this is the promotion side. I spoke about this yesterday, about that when you're an author, you're not just writing the book and that's it, you hand it over to somebody. There's a lot more involved in the process of actually launching and getting your book out there and selling copies of your book. So the title is a whole science, and I've spent a whole module on this teaching people in the book collab. I really go deep on this in our author program, how to create a title. There's a biz basics module in there. Everything about how to, your website, formatting, everything you need to do, deciding the price of the book, blah, blah, blah. That's all in there. So this is a sort of a more formal mind map of that book. Prepare my courses with mind map. Love it. Brilliant. What I love about mind map is that it's just a 1 page. You can get everything onto 1 page and you can literally have a whole plan. So this morning, you can see it's very messy. Literally in my notepad, my writing is terrible. But I just thought, let me just generate some ideas that I could possibly write a book on. So I have 15 courses. I could transform every single one of those into a book. I am creating a spiritual business series. The book is the first one, Book Mastery. And then there's about 7 more books in that series to come over the next few years. I could do a journal, diary, coloring book on archangels and angels. I could take my course, Transforming Angels, and turn that into a beautiful book with meditations. That meditations book is already written. It's already written. I have 12 short stories that I wrote 16 years ago when I lived in Brazil. I could publish them. They're stories of healing and personal development. I could take my oracle cards and put them into a book. I created this program years ago for my thesis in college, and it was called Simple Success for Women. I could put that as a 6-part course. And the question of the course is, does NLP make you happy? That was the thesis book. It's a brilliant course about how to figure out your path and your what makes you happy in life. I was a clown for years, so I could do 99 balloons, how to make balloon animals for birthday parties or Christmas parties or something. I could do that. I could also do how to have a career as a clown or children's entertainer. I could do that. My debt blitzing story, I cleared 250 grand in 4 years. I could write a book on that. That would be really inspiring for a lot of people. I could do a meditation book, Into the Zone. I actually have a book called Into the Zone. It's a meditation book and it's half written. I also have a yoga book. I think I have 2 meditation books written, half written. A book on flower essences, how to use it in your business and your life and with your kids. And I use flower essences every single day of my life. I love them. I've been using them for probably 20, even 30 years. There's not a day goes by that I don't use them. So I could talk about them till the cows come home. And I use them in all of my sessions and with clients. So I could talk about flower essences in so many instances. And I just want to say that these could be a full book, or they could be an ebook, a quick book, or they could be part of a series. And there's also, this is like sort of more business orientated, but there's also lots of life experiences in there that I haven't added in, like living abroad. I lived in 5 different countries. I could write about that. So there's lots of things that I could write about, rearing kids. So I hope that that's given you some ideas. And now this is, so what I want every single person to do, we're going to do this together on the call, is get your notepad and in the circle, do a circle in the center and write your or my book ideas if you want. So your book ideas are there in the center, my book ideas, and spider legs out from that. And I want us all, we're going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to just give you an example, just to give you some kickstart and get some ideas moving. And I know that some of you are here and you already have lots of ideas, and you've already half finished projects and everything like that. So, I mean, let's consider all of them as well and put them down as ideas that we might consider fleshing out and creating a full book. If you have something half written, that could become a full book if you want to. Just put up those ideas on the page and just an example of that. So I just literally 10 minutes this took me. So we're going to take 5 minutes. I have my Pomodoro. We're going to take 5 minutes. So I just thought, what books could people write? So we're going to go clockwise. So from the top, we could talk about cooking, kids, cooking for kids, cooking for fussy kids, cooking on a vegetarian diet, cooking for vegans, cooking for family, crock pot cooking, cooking with the air fryer, cooking on a budget, cooking for students, cooking under a tenner. There's like, you know, if you have experienced any of this, if you're a good cook, baking, whatever, one pot recipes, you could write books on all of these. Like literally, you could write a book on that if that was something that interested you. Then we have manage your money, clear debt equals freedom. You know, you might have an experience of that like I do. You could write a book on that. Homeschooling your kids. So while these ideas are here and I'm going through them, I want you to be filling out your sheet. So I want every single person to have a sheet of paper right now. And on your sheet of paper, have your book ideas in the center, a circle, and then all these spider, and be filling them in. So be filling in your book ideas as we're talking through this list. Homeschooling your kids. Maybe you have experienced homeschooling. I think every single one of us has with COVID, when we had the pandemic in the last few years. So everyone got a taste for that. But some people are homeschooling their kids since they were born. They never put them into school, or they kept them and homeschooled them themselves for whatever reason. So you might have that experience and you might want to talk about that, and you might want to talk about, you know, templates and how to manage your day and how to have literal do science in nature. And, so you might have something to say on that. I know one client of mine that had homeschooled 2 or 3 of her kids, like a wealth of information there for anyone considering it. And I know a lot of people began homeschooling because of the pandemic and never went back. So, you could write about understanding racism if that's something that you have experienced, or it's something that you're passionate about. Maybe you want to talk about inclusion in your spiritual business. Maybe you want to talk about inclusion in the classroom. Maybe your family is biracial or more diverse than, like, my family were all white. So it's like, if that's a topic that you can talk about and that might help and support and open some minds in the world, then go for it. Absolutely brilliant. Especially if if you can talk about that, brilliant. And this about relationships. So if you've found the perfect path to find the perfect, have the perfect family relationships, heal your past, perfect loving relationship, how to find your soulmate. All of that is fantastic for a book, and like racism is a hot topic, equality for women as well, equality in wages, equality in salaries, and equalities in business. Hot topic there. But relationships as well is one that you could take in all different directions if you have experience in that. Relationships with your kids, how to have good relations with your kids, with your spouse, with your family, how to heal the past, whatever. You might have had a particular health and fitness journey. So, you might have gone on a brilliant diet. You might have, like, I'm on a fitness journey now at the moment to just build strength in my body. I'm perimenopause, entering menopause, and I want to build strength in my body. So, and I've had lots of periods in my life that I've healed endometriosis, and I healed carpal tunnel. There's lots of things that I healed myself, and I healed Bell's palsy. So I could talk about all of them, what I did, and maybe that might be of interest to somebody experiencing that. I know when I had carpal tunnel, I went into the library and literally there was a book on the shelf that said how to heal carpal tunnel, and I was like, oh, took this, brought it home, followed it to a T, and healed the carpal tunnel. When I went to the doctor, the only option was surgery. So I literally saved myself a surgery, and just feeling it now. I know when it hips in on what I need to do to release it. So, you could have a health and fitness journey that you want to share, and then how I healed cancer, or another health issue I have, another, your Reiki experience, your healing system, or whatever it is that you want to share with the world, healing grief, trauma, whatever, you know. Then I can see this one. Oh, your wedding. If you've planned a wedding, and let me just move that. If you have planned your wedding abroad, that could be a book. Incidentally, all of these could be courses as well. You could totally create an online course and program with every single one of these ideas. So, this idea is translatable across that. But if you've planned your wedding abroad, then you could write a book on that, and you could teach other people how to do it. Understanding and support transgender young adults. So that was just something came to me about a friend of mine whose child is transgender, and she's a young adult now, he, and so, that is, I don't want to say this, doesn't sound right. It's a hot topic at the moment. It is so, it's just opened up this Pandora's box in the last few years, and there's a lot of parents struggling, and there's a lot of parents with questions, and it would be fantastic to have a book out there to support parents or kids. So, that could be a topic. So, really make this unique and think about what it is that you have in your life experience that you could write a book on. How to retire abroad. That could be a book, if you've done that. I'm doing that at the moment. I will be doing it in the next 10, 15 years. Living abroad, if you've lived abroad, I could write a book on how to live in Italy, how to live in Brazil, how to live in France, how to live in the US. I could write books on all them because I've lived in those countries. England as well, I lived there. Planning your will and estate template guide. So you could totally, I'm just going to mute everybody. So you could totally, if you have any sort of legal background or legal skills, you could share that. You could create a template for end of life, dying gracefully, leaving behind your millions, organizing your money, whatever you want to do there. Biz tips for your audience. You know, do you want to write biz tips for moms, biz tips for women, men, people, kids, and entrepreneurs, entertainers? Who are your biz tips for, or whatever tips, any tips, marketing tips, whatever you can write. Another couple examples, kids without tech, and maybe nature and a camping guide that could be combined with that, something like that. Ballroom dancing or any type of dancing or any type of thing that you do, Zumba, salsa dancing, anything that you could do that you could, a skill that you could share with somebody else. So I would love to hear your thoughts. What are you coming up with? Post in the chat and let me know what you're coming up with. What's so I'm going to give us, I'm going to I am going to pause the maybe I'll leave the share up. Would you like me to leave the share up, or would you like me to leave that slide up? We're going to take 5 minutes and I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do this exercise. So just give me a yes if you want the slide up, or otherwise we're going to drop in. Okay, so there's no yes, so I'm going to pause the share. And we're going to come back into the big room for a moment. Hello, hello, lovely to see everybody, all your lovely faces. So I have this is a thing I share in my author program, the Pomodoro. We just need, literally a Pomodoro is a tomato in Italian. But there's this guy, and I cannot remember his name now, but he created this thing called the Pomodoro technique. And it's literally that we can do things in bite sizes. If we have a little timer, we can do anything. Oh, Stephanie has her Pomodoro. I love that. This might sound like a funny thing, but this is actually my anchor. This is one of my author anchors. So I have it in my office all the time to remind me that I'm a writer and that I'm a writer in short bursts. I don't have to do everything all together at once. I can take my 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, whatever it is, just sets up to an hour and I can get stuff done. So we're going to take 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes, and I want us to do it together. And I'm going to get my notebook out as well, and I'm going to think of some new ideas that I could work on. So 5 minutes, I want you to have a whole list of ideas on that page, and then I'm going to ask you to share some of that afterwards. So 5 minutes. Okay, my dears, the Pomodoro is on. Go! And if you're watching live, brilliant. If you're watching the replay, do this. Just take your 5 minutes. We're going to do it together. And for anyone who's just joined, what we're doing is I'm going to put back on the screen share just because there's some people that have just literally joined right now. What we have is just a page. So we have a page, and in the center, for anyone that's just joined, is the words are your book ideas. There's a circle, and then there's lines out from that, spider web, spider lines, spider legs out from that. And then I want you to create, we have 5 minutes, 4 minutes now, of all of your book ideas, things, situations, experiences, talents, skills, whatever you have that you could possibly write a book on. And I want you to take the next few minutes and just fill that page with your book ideas. And it doesn't matter if you've just arrived, it doesn't matter if you've pressed the video on now, just do the exercise, take the few minutes and go for it, my darlings. Okay, I'm going to leave that up for anyone that just arrived. For some reason, my Pomodoro didn't go off. Let me see. Dring! Dring, dring, dring! It didn't ring for some reason. I don't know why. That was so weird. It rang about 5 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, dring, dring, dring! Here we go. Oh, well done, Chilla. Well done, darling. Hi, Maria. How are you? You're very welcome, love. When you go back and watch the replay later on, but I hope that even gave you some ideas. Belinda used her timer on the phone, got called away, no problem at all, my darlings. But I hope you can see, I found that 5 minutes quite long. I was like, God, there's actually more time. So, and I got lots of, and I want to hear from you. So pop in the chat, and we're also, if anyone wants to speak about it, I'd love to hear. But because I showed you mine, where I already brought up some ideas today. But I went a bit deeper. So it's about pushing yourself, because I thought, well, I've already done this today. Do I have any more ideas? And I just sat with it and just allowed the ideas to come through. Is there anything else there? And I mean, I work with angels, so I usually call on the angels all the time. So to me, it's like, angels, any more ideas? Is there anything else I need to be thinking about? Anything else I could work out here? Give me something else. Give me 10 more ideas. Now, I just want to bring in here quick that, and I haven't spoken about this, and I was thinking about this today, but I'm going to talk about this tomorrow a little bit, because it needs a whole class on its own. We can use AI tools now to generate a million ideas. We can use ChatGPT. We can literally go in and write a prompt. I want to write a book on my life story. I want to take something about my life experiences. What are 10 possible book ideas that I could write? And ChatGPT will give you that information in an instant. So we can definitely use ChatGPT for ideas and to assist us in the writing, as a writing assistant. So I would be very mindful and careful about using it to write for you, because it's very new, and you might run into issues later on with plagiarism, and yeah, but it's definitely a very useful tool at this ideas stage, and even to create your blueprint stage. So definitely is worth mentioning. But as I said, I'm just going to mention, I'm just going to put it out there, and I will touch on it again tomorrow. But I'm not sure if we have time, because really it's a full class in itself. But so you can totally do this. So if you run out of ideas, you can say, okay, let me hit ChatGPT now and see what that comes up with. So I came up with, I remembered that I wanted to write a book. I followed the I Ching. I've used it to help me in my personal spiritual development for probably at least 30 years. So I would love to do an oracle card deck and a book, my own book on the I Ching. So that came in. I realized another idea came in about angels and kids. I could do the guardian angel book. I could work with an artist, and that could be an illustrated book for kids. Meet your guardian angel. The forgiveness course could be adapted for kids as well. So, and then I was looking at coloring books for kids, coloring books for adults, coloring books for kids. How would they differ? They could be 2 separate books. I also thought about how to hire a VA, how to get some support on Fiverr, on all of that we spoke about yesterday. I could totally write a whole book on that, how to get support in your business. It might be an ebook, might not be a big full book, but it could be a quick ebook, maybe 10, 15, 20 pages. That would be really useful for someone in business, how to hire support. Simple one came through, yoga postures for peace and self-love. I'm practicing yoga every day now, so 20 minutes. So that's why that's in my head. I was thinking, God, maybe there's some actual yoga postures for releasing anxiety, for increasing peace, for increasing focus, as well as, exercise and balance and flexibility in your body. But what if we could also use yoga to help us in our mental processes? So they were just some ideas that literally came through as I pushed. And then the flower essences, which I love, flower essences for peace and calm, anxiety, release anxiety, fear. confidence in kids in school. So there was just like a whole mind map that I could just do on flower essences. I could write flower essences book ideas in the center and then splash out, or I could write angels book ideas and splash out and have a whole mind map on each one of them. So I would love to see your mind maps. Show me your mind maps. Show me your mind maps. Bring them up to the thing and let us see your mind maps. Love it. Love it. Well done. Brilliant. Well done, my darlings. Well done. Well done. Love it. So who would like to share? How was that experience for you? What, Chilla, off you go. Just unmute yourself there, love.
Okay. So as I said, I already started a few books. Of course, one of them is Raise Your Vibration. And the other is about the changing limiting beliefs. But I also had other ideas, for example, 77 tips to turn your dreams into reality. Now, I'm doing short videos for YouTube, so I thought that maybe I can add a bit, some exercise, and I can turn them into a book. Or for the changing limiting beliefs, I can have a workbook, I can have a journal.
Yeah.
Also for the Raise Your Vibration, at least a journal. Then talk yourself into success, about the changing self-talk. And I have personal strategy for freelancers.
Okay.
And what else? Motivate yourself and others. This is a bit taken from my HR background. And
yeah.
Maybe 2 different books, maybe 1, who knows? Then I could write a Boost Your Self-Confidence with a workbook, or Gratitude for Well-Being and Success with a gratitude journal.
Brilliant.
And I also have novel ideas, but it's not the priority, but I put it here. And it's a historical detective novel based in the 1790s, when in Hungary they were traveling acting societies because the established theaters were in German.
Wow, love it. Oh my God.
So this is an idea. I already started to work a bit, but it's just having fun when I have time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I could also write some kind of, not really memoirs or something, but my personal experience, me and the Georgian era.
Oh, love it.
The dancing and the novels and the architecture and everything.
Love it. Oh my God. Brilliant ideas.
I just need time.
Yeah, well, we just need one. We just need one to start with one. That's all. Because the beauty of this is, I hope that this is showing everybody, there's no shortage of book ideas. Literally, if we have 5 minutes and you've come up with a page of ideas. So there's no shortage of ideas. The task is to just pick the path of least resistance, the easiest one first. That's my suggestion. And it's especially if you're writing and publishing a book for the first time, because all of the moving parts, the cover creation, the editing, the formatting, the getting your book up there, and marketing and launching and doing all of that, all of those moving parts, they all require, it can be a big learning curve if you're doing it the first time. So let your first book, whether that's an ebook or a big book or whatever it is, let it be the easiest option first. So, and just a little thing on titles that's coming through, Chilla, as we're talking. So when you said dreams to reality, changing limiting beliefs, talk yourself into success, motivational tools, personal strategy for freelancers, I loved the freelancer one because it was more specific to a group, or so I could see that, I could see myself in it.
Mm-hmm.
So dreams into reality for who?
Yes.
You know, make sure that that you have 10 seconds to grab somebody's attention, and your reader, the person that's meant to read your book, needs to see themselves in that title.
Yes. Of
So
course, these are not titles yet.
yeah. It was just to add in a little bit of just to think about that as well. But well done, feckin' amazing, brilliant. Well done, my darling, well done. Anyone else would like to share? I'd love to see some of your ideas or hear some of your ideas or any thoughts.
I'll go like
Hi,
that.
Florence, how are you,
Hey.
love?
Good. So I have how to make aligned and empowering choices in vulnerable time.
Oh, love it.
While feeling vulnerable. I have another one called Calling the Divine Feminine Principle to Live from the Heart. Another one is Cultivating All Beauties, meaning feeling and being.
Okay.
And how to connect to your body beyond through movement, but to find back your pleasure and your sensuality.
Oh my God, that's giving me goosebumps. That one is the goosebump one. Oh my God, yes. You're made to write that.
And yeah, that's more or less what I have. I'm thinking, and then obviously I have my poetry, but yeah, that's what came up today. Anyway.
Yeah, love it. That goosebumps one. That's the book. That would be. I would love to see that on shelves, but it might not be the easiest one. So maybe have a think about.
Yeah, I think it's a line. It's actually a mix of all the rest.
Yeah.
Because to find your pleasure, you have to feel beautiful.
Yeah.
Or have to be beautiful, but you have to feel beautiful.
Yeah.
And you
So
have
maybe.
to. So I think it's a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe these could become chapters in your book. These titles can become chapters. So yeah, love that. Thanks for sharing, Florence. Love it. Thank you, darling. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to share thoughts, insights, anything that came through? Did you like the experience? Did you hate it?
Actually, Aishling, I'll say something.
Yes. Hi, Muriel. How are you, love?
Yeah, I was just trying to put everything together, and I realized I may not do it, but may do it over time. But it's we all have such a diverse gems of inspiration for books within us, all different types of books.
Yeah.
And I just realized that by writing out this list, I said, God, you could have so many different angles of healing and bringing in nature and color and art. And even my travels, I was saying to India, one thing I had, it won't happen now yet, but it's like all the hundreds of thousands of photos I've taken of villages and hospitals and the different people I've been with, and I wanted to write poetry with each to honor each in time. Now that's not least existence would be my cards I have not published. But it's interesting what you come up with, like and sometimes you could turn them into videos of nature, like podcasts live in nature. I would have done a lot of talks and walks in nature, and it's how you see a hole in the ground and how the inspiration just comes from that, of your own life story, of your own journey, and how you fell in a hole in life, but how you got out. I used to do little talks in nature like that. I see something, there's a piece of rubbish, a fallen tree. So it's how nature can inspire us as well. I'm just going off I've tons of stuff here, but it's how everything around us, we don't even see around us what we could turn into something of inspiration and healing for others, as you've done.
Yeah.
So
love it.
Yeah, we'll see where we all go in time. It'd be interesting. So thank
love
you.
It. Well done,
for giving us ideas.
Brilliant ideas. Love it. Love you could have a picture book of India. You could have my healing journey. You could have my pilgrimage in India. You could have, love it. Absolutely love it. I would love to see that book with all those photos and.
That'll be way down the line. It's how I found my voice more, because I was I
Yeah.
remember 7 years ago when I went to India first, I didn't know anyone. I just went on my own, and then I was meeting a few people over there. And then since, all the hospital people we've met, the orphanage, different things. But I traveled with maybe 20 or 20 men sometimes. And army people are very definite in their ideas, and now I can stand up to people. I found my voice that was a
Yeah.
stutter when I was a child. So it's a healing journey for me, and
Yeah.
recognizing that it's the poor people that have most generosity at times, most love, most. We realize in our own lives, we search for money, we search for all kinds of things, but realizing it's the beauty within. It's the simple things in life that bring the most joy. So it's a whole journey around, awakening to different things. So
Okay, my
okay,
dear.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Muriel. Thanks for sharing, love. Anyone else? Daphne, you've unmuted yourself. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say the poems that I've written, I've just sat down and said, okay, what do you want to say today?
Mhm.
So I consciously didn't sit down and say, I'll write a poem about this, that, or the other thing. But I've written down. And as I look at it, I keep saying, yeah, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that one, I've done that one. But they were all by accident. There were none of them by design. I never sat down and said, I'm going to write a poem about dinner. What's for dinner?
Wow.
Yeah, something his usual answer. I had this talk in the shop the other day. Oh, something handy. So I end up with the poem by giving him an empty plate because he wanted something handy. So I gave him something handy.
Love it.
That's one of the poems. But I've started poems for book 2. Book 1 is still in the art department.
Mhm.
It's fermenting, and I've added a couple of poems to it lately. So it's obviously not time to finish it yet. So I just thought, yeah, I'm going to sit down and just say, okay, I want 3 or 4 poems on each of these. It'd be totally different this year doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Why is it different?
Because I'm sitting down and saying, now guys, I want a poem on colour.
Love
I
it.
want a poem on sound, instead of just, okay, what do you want to say today? It'll be me saying, okay, I want something.
So it's like, so rather than allowing it to just channel through you, you might still do that. You're also
I will do
directing
that.
it. You're directing it a little bit more. Yeah, brilliant.
Yes, a little bit more focus. Yeah.
And you'll have times. So I used to say to the angels when I was channeling my book, it was like, right, I need to get 30 done in these next 2 days. So, and I talked it into an app. I talked those 30 pieces into an app over 2 days. So it was literally like, okay, just give it to me. But I was specific in that I had the time frame, and I knew I needed 30, and they had to be quick, and they had to, so you can totally channel but direct it as well where you want it. So yeah, love it. Well done.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Thanks for that.
So Stephanie, I very often start my poems with a 1-word prompt, and then suddenly come on the radio the next thing and I'll see online. Yeah, love that. Sometimes I think, yeah, the internet is listening to me. A book title idea from Muriel, The Journey. Love it. And Stephanie, series by my Wizelda Elder Queen story series. I think that is based on developing from the play I've already written. I love that, Stephanie. And Belinda, for those interested in aromatherapy, look up Lady Elizabeth Ashley Stearns. Okay. I think I might have read her book on aromatherapy. I have a certificate of aromatherapy somewhere. I think I might have read the book. Belinda's Easiest Path is her poetry books. Yeah. So love all this. Love these ideas. Can you see how far we could take this? That you could literally sit down for 5 minutes at the beginning of a session, or you could take one of these ideas and expand on that. So we're gonna, I'm not sure where we are with our slides, but what I want you to do is have a look at the ideas that are on your page right now. And you know, you can do this again later on. So you can maybe set your Pomodoro timer or whatever timer it is, or your phone or whatever, for 30 minutes and expand on this a little bit more. You know, if you haven't got enough ideas on the page, you want to maybe have about 10 ideas to do this. I wanted to look at the ideas and I wanted to think, right, what could be, right, rate them in order of easy, like quick ebook, to full novel, memoir, story of my life. So maybe grade them in order of 1 to 10. So just run around that list and put a 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 in terms of how easy that book is going to be to get out. So maybe 1 is very easy and 10 is it's going to take a lot of time, a lot more time. So just run through that list really quickly. Just let me know when you've done that. Just give me a thumbs up when you're finished. Literally run through the list and just put a number beside it. 1 for very easy and 10 for really, it's going to take a lot of time. It's more difficult to complete. And maybe use your intuition with this. If you're stuck and you're starting to think and analyze, just use your intuition. Just the first number that comes to mind. Don't even think about it. That's literally what I've done. I've just gone around there and gone bang, bang, bang. Don't think about it too much. So as I look at my list, I can see that the Flower Essence book is a 10. It's going to take a lot of time. The Kids and Angels book, maybe the Meet Your Guardian Angel, that could take, it's maybe a 6. The I Ching book is a 10. The yoga book is a 10 because I'm not a yoga teacher or instructor, so I'd have to co-write that with somebody. So that's a 10. But How to Hire a VA to Support You in Your Business, that's a 1 or a 2. I could record a session on that, and I could literally give that session to a transcriber on Fiverr and say, can you just transcribe that for me? Or I could speak it into speech using a speech to text app or Google app, the Word app on Google, and I could literally record it. And that could be a very quick ebook. I could hand it to my assistant and maybe stick a few graphics in it. And then I could maybe pay somebody to format it for me. If I wanted to put it on Amazon, but maybe as a quick ebook, I would just do it as a freebie and give to my list. And I could also use that then as a chapter in a bigger book. So that's a 1 or a 2. I could knock that out over a weekend. So I'd love to hear. So we have a 10, 8, 3, and 2. Love that. So just put beside there, and I wanted to take out the 1. And this is your mission if you choose to take it. If you choose to do it for tomorrow, I would love you to just write a 300 to 500 word paragraph on that idea. So just flesh it out a little bit more. Tomorrow we're going to work on your plan. So it has to be an idea that you want to create. So don't just, when I look at this list, how to hire and support a VA, it's not really one of the things that I would really love to do. So the thing that I'd love to do would be Meet Your Guardian Angel for kids, a illustrated book. I would love to do that. So that could be, and it's a 6, so it's not terrible. It's a 5, 6, so I could do it. So that might be something that I'd like to work on. So just really sort of balance between your intuition, your desire, and your ease. Definitely don't go for a 10 because at the moment, unless you have a year or 2 years to complete a book, that, in my opinion, is what a 10 is going to take. It's definitely a lot longer, whereas you're 1, 2. So has everybody got something that they want to work on, that they're happy to write a book on? Can you just give me a thumbs up if you have something? So you have something brilliant. And I would love you to come back tomorrow with 300 to 500 words. Just bring it with you. and just do that exercise, and we'll talk about that tomorrow, and we'll start to create your blueprint to creating that book. Tomorrow is the plan. So I'm going to jump back into the slides for a moment, and we're going to wrap up this session. So, oh, this is Stephanie, who's on the call, joined the book collab, and came, Aishling got to the nub of what excites me and guided me and advised me on the best possible route to achieving a vision of continuing to empower older women to identify their life purpose, passions, and create their legacies. Love that. We talked about a bit of business, rebranding, and just, you know, I just love that. Stephanie is already a playwright, author, and coach, but I love that she still managed to get support from being part of the book collaboration. So what changes and actions are you going to make to support your author dreams? Just after today's call, what's your biggest ahas? What's your biggest, what's your biggest action step that you might take because of today? You know, it could be that you decide to do this little exercise that I'm giving you, which is take one idea and write between 300 and 500 words on it today. Like literally set your Pomodoro, 30 minutes, and off you go, easy peasy. Or if you don't want to write, you can literally speak it into your Google app or a speech to text app on your phone. But get 300 to 500 words, a little bit of a summary, a little bit of what it could be about, an introduction. If you were sitting in a cafe and you said to somebody, I have this book idea, and they said, tell me about it. And it would just be like a little quick summary of what that book is about. So that could be what you might want to do. And also, you know, thinking about healing the teacher trauma, the classroom trauma, taking back your power, you know, think about all those things. And you know, what is it that you are committing to after what we've spoken about and what we've learned today? So Belinda's committing to writing a paragraph. Brilliant. Love it. So just, it's important that we don't just come here, listen, and then don't take action afterwards. That's really useless. I haven't done my job properly if that's where you are. So really, I want everybody to be taking some sort of action towards your author dreams. Today, this is what we've done. We've done our ideas. We didn't do author goals and build accountability. I'm going to do that tomorrow, so don't worry about that. But everything else we have covered. Day 3, map out your blueprint and your plan, discover your story milestones. We'll look at creating time, focus, and momentum. I'll talk about the different softwares and strategies that you can use, and we'll talk about goals and accountability. So it's going to be a very juicy call, and it's going to really layer on what we've already covered. So I'm looking forward to that. Check in. Love our check-ins. So just give me a check-in again. How confident are you that you can write and publish a book this year if you wanted to? Stephanie says, I think I can blend 2 of the ideas. Love it. That's brilliant. Absolutely go for it. We have a 10. We have an 11. Yes. Love it. So I can see you gaining in confidence as we go through these few days. I love it. Have my steps to take to organize my space for work. Yes, we want to see, you can use the Facebook group, the Angel Circle Facebook group. And Stephanie, you can, if you want to really push yourself and use the accountability, you can post a before and after of your space. I love before and after photos. So you could create a before photo of what the space looked like. It could be a corner of your room. You know, I'm in a little storage, it's supposed to be a storage room. And literally my husband came in and he said, this could be your office. It could be a tiny office, but it's an office, and it's fucking brilliant. So we created an extra room in our house. But in the winter, it gets very cold in here. So I moved into the bedroom. In the summer, it gets really hot in here. So I moved into the bedroom. So there's about 6 months of the year when this room is appropriate. And then other times of the year, I move into the bedroom. I set up a corner in there. Or during the days when the kids are all out, I often work from the table in our dining room, in the living room. So, you know, it doesn't have to be, it can be a movable place, but at least you have all your bits in one place. Belinda says, I have many corners. Wendy, 8 and rising, love it, my darling, brilliant. So there we are. So breathe. You don't have to know how to do everything. Every step of the way, you can choose to DIY it or hire somebody to help you. Remember that, and we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. Resources and things that you can do to support you. Oh, that's a duplicate. Here we are again, my darlings. For any of you that would like my support, I have 11 places in my program, Empowered Author Coaching Program. It's called Ignite, and it is a 6-month coaching program. Write and publish your spiritual and transformational book in 6 months. If you are interested in it, the URL to go and take a look at that is aishlingmooney.com/ignite. There are only 11 places. So, blah, 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 everything that's included. There's so much included. Go and have a look at the URL link and you'll see everything that's included. And, oh, that's a duplicate, sorry. So yeah, everything that's included to help you on your journey to literally go from idea to published book in 6 months, including all the marketing, all the biz basics that you need in the background there as well. And you can get started. The lowest payment plan is $247 plus VAT, or one big installment, which saves you money. So that is it, my darling. So tell me your biggest takeaway from today. What is the biggest golden nugget that you were taking away with you today? Stephanie says, I did a wee post about sorting out 30 years of shawls and scarves. Oh my God, definitely do. Yeah, I'd love to share a before and after picture in the Facebook group. Love that. So we're about to wrap up. So I would love you to just give me one big aha. What is your biggest aha or takeaway that you're taking away from today? What is that you're taking away with you today? So a mine of ideas, our inner richness, love it. Decide on the book idea to start with and getting a specific target group, love that. So love all these insights, brilliant. And Q&A, well, we have our Q&A is going to take place in the Facebook group because we've run out of time today. But I think I answered a lot of questions, and if there's any more questions, you can post them in the Facebook group, or you can send me an email if you have a question that I haven't covered. And I'm hoping, I haven't picked a date yet, but I'm hoping to do a live Facebook live stream on Friday or Saturday, and that will be where you can ask me anything. So any questions that I haven't covered through the few days. Focus on what I want to write about, Dimpna says. Garage is for messy art. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm really delighted. Let me just pause the share here and come back. So that is it, my darlings. We are wrapping up day 2. I hope you got something useful from this. I really enjoyed it. For any of you that are interested in Ignite, just send me a PM, send me an email, reach out to me, let me know, and we can have a chat and see if it's a fit for you. I know it's not cheap. So, and you know, it reflects the commitment that's required on my behalf and for you, from you, to just literally walk with you for whatever you need in that process. I'm there for you for that 6 months. And that's the reason that there's only 11 places. I can't take any more than that. That's who I can hand on my heart say that I can work with. So if you're interested, do reach out ASAP. We're going to be back tomorrow, and we're going to be designing your book blueprint. So don't miss it. Reach out, any friends, anybody out there that you know that needs to see this workshop over this book camp over the last few days. Please invite some friends and family and whoever would need this. Anybody that has a dream to write a book. That is it, my darlings. Have an amazing day. Enjoy writing your paragraphs, your summaries, and I will see you tomorrow. Loads of love, everybody. Bye-bye.